to have it like so right there. You see everything there. Like you can see like this whole screen will see you'll see your whole self. But I'm just getting everything a little makeshift going back. So I'm just going to get into it. I've not been super happy lately on a direction. Kind of want to pause with them district boys. We here in the future we'll probably collab again. They're great guys, great business. They're hard workers. Had an amazing time. Probably more personally for me, being away from Gulfport, being away from my son. You know, took a lot on me. Setting the show up took a lot on me, and then after a while, you get to do that. It starts wearing on you. So, with that being said, we got Zach, Grady, and Mike Nail in the house. We got Stepdad Scott here. This is the original podcast studio, and I hope you enjoy the show. Let's go into.
You have to be glad to be on.
I'm glad to be on again.
Always good to be here.
So where are we going? I mean, you're in what a year in your position?
I'm in my second year.
Second year?
Yep.
How's that been working out for you?
It's been going great. I enjoy it. As I mentioned earlier, you know, there's always a lot to learn, you know, but you know, like I tell everybody, I'm excited about things going on in the state right now. You're seeing, you know, certain issues and legislation that hasn't been addressed in a while, that the legislature is debating on, and big topics such as, you know, our PER system and school choice. We saw our education formula overhauled last year and public education fully funded. I mean, it's pretty exciting what's going on in the state of Mississippi right now.
Let's go into Mr. Nell over there. I mean, you're kind of jumping in right now, and jumping right in.
I don't even have a day in yet, but I'm excited. I'm ready to go.
You gotta bring that mic up a little more.
I'm ready to go in, you know, feet first. And the first day I think is going to be interesting because we're going to vote on a lot of things right off the bat. Here's a weird thing. The 30th we get sworn in. The next day is the 1st of July, and we start working. The 1st of July is my birthday. So I get to start working on my birthday.
Early birthday.
That's cool.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
And you didn't even know at the time you were on, you didn't even know if there was paycheck behind it.
Oh, wow.
How much
I knew a little bit there was a paycheck. But
how much would you spend on your campaign totaling?
$1,400. That's all I spent. So what I did was I bought 40 signs and I moved them around. Put some over. And everybody said, man, I see your signs everywhere. I said, yeah, you do. One week you'll see them over here. The next week you'll see them over there. Same signs.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How many signs did you put out? Do you remember?
I don't know. Between Biloxi and D'Iberville, I mean, it was a few hundred. I can't tell. I don't remember. It's a lot. I got them piled up in the shed right now.
I got Joel Carter's in the attic. I took a picture and sent it to him the other day because I went around because I was like, you know, if you run again, I'm gonna go around and grab my signs that I put out. They've been in my attic forever, and I think he's changed his whole like look of his campaign now.
Yeah.
So Zach, with that being said, you know, today you went and toured Angola.
Yeah, so this year the Speaker of the House thought of me enough and promoted me to Vice Chair of Corrections in the House of Representatives. So it's kind of given me a lot of direction of kind of what to focus on. And actually, a couple weeks ago, I got to go tour our state penitentiary up in Parchman, and that was an eye-opening experience. It was pretty awesome to go up there and kind of see, you know, that area and everything that's going on and all the resources we have there. And then today I went with a couple other legislators and we went to Angola, which is the Louisiana State Penitentiary. And, you know, we're always trying to see what other places are doing and seeing if they have something we can incorporate here in Mississippi to make the process better. And that's the point of it.
How big is this facility?
I mean, I forget exactly
That's
what
the
they
one
said.
with the rodeo, right?
That is in Angola. I want to say today they said it was over 18,000 acres, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
Ooh.
And
That's a lot.
Parchman's really large too. A lot of agriculture, farming land at both areas. And I mean, it was pretty cool. I mean, machine shops and metal shops and welding shops. A lot of resources out there, to help rehabilitate and teach people, different crafts and things like that to help them get back on their feet. And we saw a lot of really cool. We passed by the arena today at Angola where they do the rodeo, and I've never been, but I'm hoping to go this year. They said they have it every April and every October, so I want to go check that out. I've heard
I'm
some
down.
really cool things about it. Yeah, man, we should go.
Let's
How
get a
far
bus
is
and
that
go.
from here, Angola?
It was about a 3-hour drive.
3 hours.
Yeah.
Scott, have you been?
I have not. But I have watched the Parchman folks a lot. I toured the prison when I was in college. I bet some of those places haven't changed since then, but others have too. They also had a lot of music going on. They had a band and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if that's still happening.
There's a lot of resources out there. Like they've got catfish ponds. And I mean, like I said, a ton of farmland, a lot of equipment out there to farm it. And I mean, it was really cool. Everything that I've got to see. Definitely a couple of my favorite trips I've taken to kind of go see what's going on in the state. And
Don't they pay them guys?
yeah, there's certain programs where they get a little bit of pay, and it goes towards their fines, and a little bit goes into their canteen and different things like that. But yeah, there are some programs that they can get in where they get pay for the jobs that they're doing.
Do you think that prison is like self-contained, or is it the state still has to put up a lot of money?
Which one exactly?
The Angola.
I'm not sure about Angola. I don't know specifically about their finances. I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure like the Mississippi Department of Corrections budget, I think it's the third largest budget in the state. Is that right, Scott?
That sounds right to
Yeah,
me too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we have Sean Renee Merrill says Big Zach. We got Tommy Soche says
What up,
congratulations,
Sean?
Mike. Keep them straight.
That's right.
Image striping, and that's my uncle.
Yeah.
I was with him at the Billfish. So he's got a crazy story too. I'm gonna eventually get him on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
bet.
he door knocked. He lost. It's probably. I'm gonna say it's probably 10 years now. I think it's 10 years, but he lost a lot of money. Decided he wanted to start a striping company. He has a background, and when he started that company, he was just doing this.
Oh really?
Oh, he had. I'm telling you, when I tell you he had no money in the bank, he had no money in the bank, and all he had was a family to feed. The family to feed for him was so huge that he just worked 80 hours. And now look at Emmett Striping. It's the number one striping place on the coast, and he continues to grow. He just got a big truck.
Oh yeah.
Big truck. But that's a cool story. That's somebody I want to have on, because it's like you watch somebody go from nothing. I mean, he had a couple businesses, but this was.
He cut grass at one time.
Yep, he used to cut for the
Broadwater.
the
He
Broadwater
cut a little bit for
president.
Broadwater. Yeah.
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 But that's appreciate that. Now, and Zach, man, you go back and watch his podcast. You watch him with Prime America grow.
Oh yeah, Sean. I watched y'all's podcast not too long ago. We went to high school together. Got to be on that state championship football team together.
Really?
Yeah, me and Sean. Yeah, he was a senior. I was a junior.
So let's go into. All right, now you're in, Mike. You're in here.
I'm in.
All right. So what's some of your first plans of action?
Well, we're working on the Hill Park Pond. Believe it or not, we got some things lined up where we're going to clean the banks out. We're getting working on getting the bathrooms going again. They've been down for like 2 years, so we got to get all that stuff going. I want some benches down by the pond and little things like that just to start off. Money, believe it or not, money is not where you think it is. So when somebody says we can't get something done because of money, they're telling the truth. It's going to be hard. We might have to do some fundraisers out there and get some of that stuff going.
Opportunities to raise grant money.
Yeah, I'm going to be talking to Scott. You?
No, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what we're supposed to do, work together. And,
Yeah.
you know, I love to hear you talk about those, you know, the little things. It's a
Yeah.
lot of times it's the little things that matter.
Yeah.
And it's all about quality of life.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with Biloxi right now, believe it or not, it needs to be cleaned up. You know, just keeping the grass cut and trying to make the roadways look better. And you know, when you go into like we do some work in Louisiana too, and you go into Mandeville, and as soon as you drive into Mandeville, you go, wow, why can't we be like that? Why can't we be
I
like when
agree.
you drive into when you drive into Biloxi, you go, wow, you know, even Gulfport has a beautification crew. We don't have one.
You're on a point with that because it does. When you have good curb appeal,
Yeah.
people come in and go, oh, this is, you know, like you said, just a couple benches,
Yeah.
you know.
Now everybody says, oh, when you put a bench in there, homeless people are going to sleep on them. No. I don't think no homeless people is going to be going to Hilla Park and sleeping on no benches by the water, you know?
Or you can, I mean, but you still can patrol that area.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've seen a lot of that. I mean, just now they MDOT just went in. You see the photo of under Gills,
Gills over in Ocean Springs.
you know, fish camp where we used to park under the bridge.
Yeah.
It's got nothing but like 10 yellow poles. There's no parking anymore.
Really?
Yeah, and I think MDOT's going around and just they don't want people parking under the bridge.
Okay. I didn't realize that.
Well,
They put, I'm telling you, they put right under that. I mean, that's our parking spot. It has nothing but them yellow concrete poles.
Wow.
You still can go around and wrap around at Jenny's,
Yeah.
but there's I don't know where everybody's going to park now.
Yeah. I mean, whenever the parking would get full down there, you're right. It would kind of spill over that way.
I mean, now I used to have, that was my parking spot.
Yeah.
now listen to this. People keep telling me as soon as I get my phone number, you know, because I'm getting a city phone and in my own, what do you call it? The text and all that stuff, you know, and the internet, I'm going to get bombarded. Like 50 people at one time is going to be wanting stuff done. So the things that I want to get done and the things they won't get done, what do you think? Who should I go to first? Try to work them both in?
I mean, you just kind of, a lot of things just kind of start with an idea. You start looking at needs. And like I said, at the end of the day, it's quality of life. And, you know, you just reach out to whoever you think can help to make it happen at the end of the day.
I mean, I know trying to put new sidewalks in and fixing the broke ones, that's a big issue. And I have a 100-foot, when you said the first, I meant this, there's 100 foot of sidewalk I want to put in by Pops Ferry Elementary School before school starts back. It ain't gonna happen.
Or do you think that you're allowed to bring in small businesses to do the sidewalk as a sponsorship?
I don't know why we can't do it. We got men. We got forms sitting over there behind the fence. We got guys that can, you know, hammer them in the ground and pour it. Why can't we pour 100 foot of sidewalk ourselves? Why do we even need to get another company for?
And y'all are utility. Biloxi still has their own utility company, right?
Well, they have their public works.
Public works.
division.
I wouldn't call it utility, but
I mean, now a lot of them go into private.
yeah.
So, I mean, it's coming.
I mean, at the end of the day, you got to look at, you know, cost and, you know, what other projects are going on. And I think you just plan appropriately. And, you know, sometimes maybe the city doesn't have certain types of equipment and you know, you just kind of, you know, the county can help out and, you know, different things like that. And you just kind of, you just plan it out from there, you know? And I think there's a lot of great things we're going to be able to get together and, you know, work. And
See, my thing is like the common sense thing is we can do it. But from what I've been hearing everywhere else, it ain't going to happen like that. You're going to have to sub it out. You're going to have to get some bids and stuff like that. Just for 100 foot of sidewalk for the kids. So when they walk, you know, to school, there's grass. They walk from one sidewalk 100 feet to another sidewalk, and they got to walk through grass to get their shoes wet, you know, to get grass on their shoes. That seems like that'd be just simple to just go pour that. Let's just do it.
I'm with Mike.
I got a Traco. I'll level it out.
I'm with Mike Nell on that. I mean, especially if kids are getting their shoes wet. I mean, shoes are expensive.
Early in the mornings when that dew's on the ground. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it. Like I said earlier, it's all about quality of life, little things like that.
Yeah.
People see that.
Yeah.
You know, it makes a difference in the community, you know,
Yeah.
and it's, you're already looking at, I think, you know, something that's really important to look at. I tell people all the time, our youth, we need to go above and beyond and do everything we can for the kids in our
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
You know?
See, I wanted to get in, and then I wanted to get in there and see what equipment does the city of Biloxi have? What do we own? We own a lot of equipment, and I'd like to get behind the scenes and say, those 3 dump trucks sitting over there, how long they been sitting there? Can't they be working right now somewhere?
Let's get so for everybody, this is Jeremy Nell's dad. This is Mike Nell. They own Nell Grounds
Nell's
and
Grounds and
Grounds
Irrigation.
Irrigation. But I always tell him when he makes a post, I mean, he lives a very simple life, but you can know because he changes his equipment out. He really does. I mean, you go on there on social media, it's a Kubota tractor or dump trucks, or I mean, he moves them. There's no I'm with you.
I got some stuff on Marketplace right now.
He moves them though. I mean, I can see that. If I mean, I wonder if the city's moving their equipment like they should.
Oh, they do. They used to have a guy once a year. They had an auction, and that guy died, and it used to do the auction from Jackson. Now everything's online. They auction everything online, so they do get rid of it.
Could you sell a piece of equipment and maybe fund a sidewalk?
Who, me?
No, I'm just saying. I don't know.
Oh, you mean the city could sell something? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they got like an old 1991 Gator.
Oh, yeah.
Throw a few grand at it. I was saying maybe I get with some of these small businesses and say, hey, you know what? We'll give you a little sponsorship on that concrete. Give you a sign for putting a sidewalk out. That's how I would do it, because there's a lot of small businesses, I believe, like construction businesses.
Yeah.
That could get a little sign out that they participated in their own community. And it's good for business.
A lot of time when it comes to, city budgets or anything like that, any job has to go out for bids. You have to get bids back. You have to do, there's a certain process you got to go through. Now, I mean, as far as if it's possible to get some type of sponsorship or something like that, I think it'd definitely be something to look into if somebody wanted to do the work.
Your
for
baseball
sure.
stuff, your football stuff.
Yeah.
You get sponsors for that. I'm just saying, there's companies that need marketing to grow their business, and they operate in, say, the city of Biloxi. What hurts for them to get a little plaque or a little sign that we paved this sidewalk?
That's true.
And it's just people take appreciation. And one thing I learned about marketing is people gravitate towards people that give back to the community. You look at the Pink Dress Run. That's one thing I always get people come up. They're like, and Samantha's in here from Keesler.
Sorry, Connie. What'd you say?
Zach Grady is the best. He always supports our community and the ones who need it the most. So she gives she gives over $5,000 a year with Keesler to my memorial, raising money. But people appreciate, Carter's Champions going out there raising money, not keeping the money and just giving it to our local hospital, which it makes us, when it comes to me selling insurance, it makes a difference. So I'm just saying it helps me sell insurance. Imagine like a little concrete business.
Yeah.
Just, hey, you see it everywhere. I mean, it's just that you can use small businesses to market if you didn't have the budget.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in the city, they do have a crew that will go fix broke sidewalks. I see them all the time out there pouring a little concrete. And I'm like, I wonder why that crew couldn't come over here and just swing by there and form that up and pour it. I'm going to find out. Look, when I get in there, I'm going to find out. I'm going to find out how all that works.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you've got a big job ahead of you because you're in a whole new place, new people. It's going to be about establishing relationships, getting to know these people, getting to know what they want and what they need.
Yeah.
So you can help them get what they want. They, in return, then would be inclined to support a sidewalk or something like that.
And see, then I'm trying to figure this out too, is just say they want to build some, a developer wants to build some little bitty townhouses over by the old Boulevard School. Mm-hmm. It's going to be, they shooting for 213, which that ain't going to work. There's too many houses on one piece of property. But the people that voted for me, the majority of the people that I've talked to don't want them there, which I think that'll be a good thing for Biloxi. But I'm going to have to go with them. Would that be correct?
I mean, you're definitely supporting the, your constituents who put you in there, and I think it's important to see what the community wants and, what their needs are. And, they put you in there because they believe that you'll be able to make the best decision at the end of the day.
Yeah. I know I'd just be one vote, but I just feel that, I mean, you're talking about a piece of property that nobody has done nothing with in years. And these people want to come out there and build a gated wall community right there.
Yeah, I think I've seen something about it on Facebook or something.
Boulevard Villa or something
like that.
Yeah. But
I didn't think about it. That's right there in your ward, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right there on the south side. Huh?
Yeah, right across from Elmwood Apartments. Yep. And then you just, I don't know.
That's close to, that's kind of like in the corner of Pass and Veterans.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's way down.
Oh,
it's right across from the Fatima Church. Almost.
Okay.
It's where the old baseball park used to be. The old Boulevard Elementary School was there.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But I think it's going to be, I don't know. It probably be voted down. They have to downsize them. They're too close together right now. But it's just little things like that. I don't know how to go, which way to go.
Well, I mean, I think you should. I'm not in the political world. I love it. I think it's a hard job, but the way you campaigned, I would do that same from your projects. I mean, show the same passion. Be loud about it. I mean, you did it with United in Blue.
Yeah, we got that coming up later this year too.
Yeah, but I mean, you got frustrated. That officers wouldn't get paid in the line of duty when they were killed, and you made you mad, and then you found a way to start your own organization. So that, a wife grieving, they can lose their house. You spent 10 years as a detective and in the field. So, I mean, it's the same thing about you being mad about sidewalks. You were passionate about it and you made it happen. But it was just you telling people what you're going to do. And that's you went from being in the law enforcement to standing up for the people that, lose their life in it. Pretty powerful.
I just think that, I believe that law enforcement in general and first responders, we have a ton of support, especially in the community we live in. We do. But it's hard to really understand what those men and women do day in and day out unless you were a part of it. And I'm very thankful I got to serve 10 years at the Iville Police Department. And, one of the main reasons why we do United in Blue or that I do is I think about how would I want my family to be treated by the community if I didn't come home from shift one night? What would I want someone to do for them? And that's kind of the burden that I carry in United in Blue to try to do for a family what I would have wanted done for mine. Sorry, I got a little tongue tied right
that's
there.
Fine.
In that instance, and I think, every time an officer goes to work, they tell their family, bye and see you later. And it's just kind of something in the back of their head. They don't really talk about, don't try to think about, and try to make it home every night.
It's important. We got Dan Cuevas in here. This dude, first time he got in office, Harrison County Board of Supervisors, number 1.
Dan the man.
Yep.
Dan the man.
He first thing he did was increase pay for the city workers.
Yeah, the county workers.
Workers. That was cool. The first thing he did, and that's what he wanted to do.
I remember we talked about that whenever
me
and Dan came and did the podcast. Remember that was one of the things Dan talked about.
Yeah, Dan was like,
here.
I'm in. I'm shout out to Sam Newman, amazing musician. Dawn Beam was his mom. She was Supreme Court judge. He also is works at Gulfport as that attorney you need. He fights for people. Thank you, man. Yeah, I like being back in this habitat. He and his mom are going to be coming on.
There you go.
I'm interested in finding out how that trial went up in Jackson, Sam.
How long was it?
Oh, go ahead.
No, how long was it?
Well, he told me it was 5 to 6 weeks scheduled, but you never know.
Sorry, Zach. What was it?
I was just going to give another shout out to Dan, man. He has been doing a phenomenal job in that supervisor position since he's been there. I mean, everything he's involved, he's at almost every event. I mean, we talk all the time, and man, he's doing an amazing job there. Dan is killing it.
Dan reached out to Mike Nell.
Yeah.
I called. I don't know, because like he has a lot of that Dan in him too. You know, when it comes to the whole, I just want change for my community. You know, Dan, like I said, Dan doesn't have to be a board supervisor. I mean, he's been with AT&T forever.
Yeah,
there's a passion for him.
No, he's Dan and I met because he was or still is the president of the Wool Market Baseball League, and that's where my son plays. So me and Dan been doing that for several years now. I've helped coach over there, and I mean, he's been involved way before he got that position. You know, you can tell he's got a heart for it.
And he's tall and scary looking. Let's be honest, guys. Let's be honest. I mean, Cece's got her. I mean, this dude is not little. He shakes your hand stern.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is cool, and appreciate that, man. I love what y'all do. I'm like I said, I'm kind of right there in the system because I do like change. I do like a person that goes, you know what, I want a sidewalk because I don't want kids' shoes to get wet. You don't know what they're, you know, it could be a single mother, 4 kids, only gets one pair of shoes every 2 years.
Now, I've been watching this for the last 2 years. These kids, way before I even thought about running. I even did a video. I did a video on that sidewalk, and I tried to show it to city workers or somebody from the city, which it didn't go nowhere. It didn't fly. So I used to like to go do videos. I go out in the woods and do videos
That's
on
how I found
homeless people.
That's how I found them.
Yeah, I do videos on homeless people, and I always wanted. You know what I wanted to do one time? I wanted to do a show called "Where You're At," and just go out there in the woods and ask them, "You had to get here somehow. You know, where did you come from?"
Well, Jeremy, your son said you were doing videos
We
when he was a
did.
kid.
When he was a kid, I'd take him in the woods.
You know it. You would be surprised, but being in law enforcement, I had several conversations with people that were homeless, and some of them that's the life that they wanted. They actually had plenty of resources and money and different things like that. They wanted to live that lifestyle. It was quite interesting. I would have never expected it.
Yeah.
All right, so we got in here. Hold on, mom's in here.
Yeah.
And she said, "Let Scott ask some questions." This is my mother. There's my mom.
Well,
she's opinionated. It's my mother, like me.
I will, babe, when I have one.
Yeah. It's my mom. She is an amazing person. Big supporter of the show. Dan goes, "Thank you guys, Mike. I'm here to help you be successful. I can't do it in this twang. You're successful. You're successful means we are doing it what's right by the people who elected us."
That's right.
You got a country twang to them. You know that, right?
Yeah. There's no doubt in my mind that I know if it's possible, Dan would definitely help with that sidewalk. I believe that.
Yep. Yeah, he's gonna try to help me with a few things, I think.
I just saw the fact. Oh, so good.
I got an idea that
All right.
that sidewalk's going to be something of conversation
Yep.
among the council members in very short order, because I don't think you're going to let it die.
No, I'm not gonna let it die. There's a couple other ones, but that's the littlest one.
Yeah.
So I figured that start off small, 100 foot. The other one is 1,700 feet, which that's probably going to have to go through bids. The other one's 1,700 feet. You know.
Yeah, and I mean a lot of this stuff, Mike. Y'all got a new budget coming up, new budget year, and you can see once you kind of get in there and kind of see what's going on of what projects you can get submitted to get done next year. And one thing that excites me is just seeing people excited to get involved, right? Get in the community and do things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely excited for you. It's nice to finally meet you tonight. And I can definitely tell you're passionate and ready to get to work. So
I can't wait for them to ask for new trucks. You know why? They got some good trucks that runs good right now. And I think they're going to hold their own for a little while. I don't think we need no new trucks.
And so it all works in this. So if there was like a sidewalk situation, it would be Dan that you have to put a bid in to Dan. Or how's that work?
Huh?
No. What they would do is when you have a big project in the city that, you're going to a company's going to come in and handle that contract or that project, the city or the entity or whoever is doing the project would take bids and then ultimately go with the bid that's the most affordable and everything for the city. It comes down to being wise when spending
But they
taxpayer
also
dollars
look
and
at
different things like that.
Do they also look at companies that just try to undercut and they keep that consideration too, right?
I mean, I don't exactly know what their process is, but I mean, there'd be a contractual agreement of what needs to be done and how it needs to be done. And, all parties would have to uphold to that.
Yeah, that bid process says lowest and best.
All right.
There you go.
Well, what
There you
about this? Like, we need a new roof for the bathrooms at Hilla Park. We're talking about plywood, 2x4s. We don't have anybody in the city that knows how to nail a nail on payroll. That shouldn't have to be bid out. Take one of them dump trucks over there, rip that roof off, get some guys out there to go to Home Depot, buy some wood, throw it back up there, and open that bathroom up.
I mean, I definitely see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
It's not that easy,
and
though.
I don't know. I mean, that's a conversation you'll have to have with your colleagues and the Public Works Department to see if they have the tools and the ability to go do something like that.
Yeah.
If I had to think, I mean, just like every city, though, there's so many rules, and if you doing any kind of business out, like if you want to have a business, you got to go through a lot of rules. I'd imagine they have rules for themselves too. Of like, I mean, there's got to be I know it sounds easy, but I'm pretty sure they do have a process like they do if you start a new business.
Yeah, everything's got a process. Everything for the most part.
You got somebody right there just throwing you little hearts.
Oh, that's my cousin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean,
she's always a big supporter.
I've never been in a room to watch these deals get done.
Yeah.
I just like passionate people that love helping others, and you can tell that by meeting a person. I mean, that's why it's cool. Like, when me and Zach got together, I was like, you narc. And like me and him, yeah. Well, because I didn't know he was a detective, and I was just like, and then we became friends over it. And he was like, no, man, I haven't been a detective. I'm like, all right, bro, I'm sorry. And then like came on the podcast, we hit it off, and we talk all the time. And from the way he cares about his position and his community and his family, and
I think we had a mutual respect for each other before then, though.
I know, but this is a bigger one when I was just like, hey, I tell you what's on my mind.
Yeah. I remember that phone call.
But it takes that, and I think when you look at, like, I know when, they're like anything, like you said that today to me, we're talking about like, oh, now you're a politician. You're like, I ain't a politician.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, you are a politician because you need to represent a good politician. They are good politicians. It's just, there's a lot that's been complacent too.
It's weird. And I've always, watched how the city workers work. And 10 years ago, I'd call up and say, hey, 3 guys riding around in one truck. Why is 3 guys riding around in one truck? And now I'm watching these guys now a little bit more tight. I like yesterday, Wade was cutting grass on Pass Road, shooting the clippings out into the road. I'm like, what is this? They're turn that thing the other way. Does somebody got to teach these guys how to cut grass? Do I need to go down there and show them? For real.
When I was canvassing,
you probably could.
My campaign,
I'm sure
I can.
That was something that several people talked to me about.
Yeah.
That's just overall beautification and different things like that. That's a big deal.
That's something simple to fix. Something simple. Turn the lawnmower around and go that way with it. Pretty simple. Now, I think some of the city workers might not like me later on.
No, I think you're going to get plugged in and do great, man. You got a lot of great ideas, and again, it all comes back to quality of life. It's the people that live here that put us in these positions.
That's it.
And they're important. The community's important. This is our home.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Now, in your position, you don't have to have ward meetings. See, we have to have ward meetings sometimes. And that's what's going to be scary for me. I'm going to let Tisdale set my first one up for
we
me.
we do town
Do you?
halls,
Town
and
halls?
different things like that, and we go to some different forums. I was actually talking to a few people the other day. I was hoping to have, a town hall here soon, and get the mayor and all the council members from District 115, and kind of invite the community to come out and do a Q&A and see what's going on.
That's the only way to get to know them.
Yeah, I think that stuff's important.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Because a lot of people's in Ward 3, they didn't vote for me, and maybe I can change their minds later on. So maybe
Well, at
he
the
ain't
end
that
of the
bad
day,
of a guy.
we're going to represent the people that voted for us and didn't vote for us, and we're going to do the best job we can for all of them.
Yeah, I'm for the whole Ward 3.
You talked about going and having ward meetings. I think the law requires you to meet periodically with the board of supervisors in the cities that are in your district. I don't think many people actually do it. There's no follow up or anything like. But the concept of it and doing it and getting to know what the people back home want is great.
It's important, absolutely. Yeah. And I'm always talking to Dan and different council members between Biloxi and D'Iberville. Quite often. I mean, that's the only way you know what's going on.
Yeah. But I heard that George Lawrence never had a ward meeting ever.
Yeah, I'm not.
I don't think you really have to.
Oh, I'm not saying you really have to. I'm just saying
it's a good idea
that the concepts there.
Yeah.
The legislature has codified some of it now for members of the legislature, not for you guys.
Yeah. Now Shoemaker, he has a once a month meeting if anybody wants to show up over in Woolmarket.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Where's that spot at?
I don't know. I think it's one of the community centers over there. But he once a month. If you want to come, you can come. If you don't, he's there once a month. And that's a good idea.
Do you make it go live? What do you do in your town hall meetings?
I don't know. I mean, as far as you can do a Facebook Live, or you can have somebody there with a camera to set up if you want to. I know some people record them and then kind of post them afterwards for people in the community that couldn't make it. That way they can go back and watch it and see what was talked about and what questions were asked and different things like that.
Now for the smaller stuff, let's get into the trash, somebody's trash cans on this kind of way. The lighter complaints. What's your thoughts on that? Like, I mean, you're talking sidewalks and getting stuff cleaned up, but I had I'm not gonna say his name, but I have a buddy that he would get these just the weirdest complaints. The weirdest complaints, the lightest complaints that you could just do in 2 seconds was like what kept his phone running. It was the simple complaints of like their trash can's been out for 3 days. Like it was that kind of stuff, and it was way worse than like our streets flood. Like, how do you handle? How's that situation? You feel like you're going to get these calls where it's like, I don't like my neighbors. Their car's parked crooked. I mean, that they're going to come, but from what he told me was that was that took more time up on the phone versus serious actual complaints and problems.
Well, I'm gonna tell you how I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna probably go to the guy's house myself and say, "Look, man, you gotta straighten your car up. It's kind of crooked. You're gonna get hit, and I might just pull the garbage can in myself for him. I'm gonna be a hands-on person, and I know Ward 3. The Ward 3 is not that big. I ride through Ward 3, 20, 30 times a week. The whole ward.
Scott, how would you handle that situation?
It's a good question. It's kind of like the job of mayor. Every barking dog, every garbage issue, everything, and the more local your office, then the more personal those types of calls get. Mm-hmm. You'll get more, like he says, more of those. What I don't want to say insignificant, but just smaller things that bother people that aren't really your job, quite frankly.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was wondering too.
But rather than we need to repave this road, or we we have an issue here, or is it the lights out at this place, which is important, or a stop sign's down, or something that makes a difference. But these are important to these people,
Yeah.
and all you can do is show them some respect. And
I was thinking this: 80% of the people who got complaints could probably fix that themselves. You know, they could probably call up Public Works, but my thing is this: if you call up Public Works 3 times and they don't do anything, then you can call the councilman. Maybe it didn't get through to the right person. But I would, you know, as a citizen, I've always called up myself and tried to fix it. I've never, I'm going to tell you right now, I've never called up a councilman for anything. I've always did it myself. I've never called up a councilman for nothing.
But would you, now that you're in the position, would you call them up now if you're in their ward? Like,
Oh yeah, and tell them, look. Well, I already see issues in other people's wards right now. They're telling me there's a area right on the corner that's all grew up. I said that's Ward 4, but I'm gonna look into it for you. You know.
What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, that's local government. You know, I haven't been a part of you know, local government, but, you know, being born and raised in D'Iberville and having relationships with a lot of the mayor and, you know, council members and things over there, that's part of local government. You're going to have those calls. And I think that, you know, it's important. You've got, you know, when you're a council member, you've got resources and departments and everything to reach out to. And I think it's important to reach out to, you know, the different departments and find out what's going on. Like for the parked car or whatnot that Mike was talking about. You know, maybe that's a call down to the code office to say, hey, is this a code violation? Is this car supposed to be parked this way, or how are we supposed to do it? And you have departments that's their job. If something's wrong, they can go out there and address it in the way that's in the city ordinances and SOPs and different things like that. And I think it's important. But I mean, I love the thought and everything that Mike's talking about. He wants to be hands-on. He wants to go out and, you know, show the community that he's here to help. And communication is key. And we see a lack thereof in a lot of different areas, you know, and just being that line of communication. And I think at the end of the day, you know, constituents that go out and members of the community and they exercise their right to vote, which is extremely important. I think that they just want to know they have somebody that's available. They have somebody that will answer the phone, that will talk to them. They have somebody that will make the phone call to see if they can fix the problem or what the problem is. And honestly, I think that's one of the most important things, is to just be available and responsive.
See, when people text me, they'll text me right now. And I'll read the text and I go, push that button off. What did you want? Yeah, I don't like doing all that texting. Let's just talk. What's going on? You know?
Yeah, I'm not a big text guy. I'd rather just make a phone call.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you on that.
There's no emotion with a text.
Yeah.
No.
But that's a great response that you're making, showing that you're paying attention and that you care about what they care about. Let's talk about it. See what we can do to fix it.
I always tell Jeremy this: you have to return phone calls. You have to. You know, Jeremy.
He don't return my phone calls at all, bro.
I tell you, I believe that too. It's important to return phone calls and answer messages, but there'll come times, you know, there'll come seasons where it's extremely hard to keep up with every email, every text message, and every phone call. And I find myself quite often, like I'll be 3 days later and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't call so-and-so back. And I'll call them back and apologize. Hey, I'm so sorry. I got busy. I just thought about you. What's going on? You know,
just because you have 100 phone calls a day.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but I will say, if I hit, he will call me back. But I mean, it's normally y'all working all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, Jeremy works so much. I mean, that family is like, you know, like heavy tractor, dirt all day. I mean, every time I see Jeremy, like he's trying to, you know, make sure the customers are right. Like Jeremy does all the like butlers, like landscape. They do all that. Yeah. They have massive contracts. So like I see where Jeremy, when he gets off of work, he's like been on that. He's been on one of their machines all day long. And he works Sundays.
7 days a week.
They got to get them done. Like they got to get it done.
Yeah.
So now I love you, Jeremy, but I think for him, it's like he's a lot like his dad too. Though it's like if Jeremy can go without a phone, he probably would.
Yep.
Like if Jeremy, if you could just he could be disconnected to what he hates. Like he don't want a phone. That dude's always on his boat. He wants to be away.
I know that feeling.
Now look, what about this? All right, we can't go to the directors and talk to them direct about the sidewalk or cutting grass. We have to go through chain of command. I would like to go straight to the director, but you can't. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not quite aware with that.
Yeah.
That rule or procedure. I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to develop relationships with everybody throughout.
That's
the city.
what I like to.
You know, I mean,
they don't got to listen to us.
Yeah, I mean, at the
They
end of the
gotta
day,
listen to
I think you could make a phone call and say, "Hey, was you aware that that we've got this issue over here?" And they might be able to tell you, "Yes, we are. We're kind of going through the process right now to address that." But I mean, I don't think there's a problem with having a conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, you might not be able to directly direct them to some, and I don't know those rules.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I would have loved to. I didn't want to because I'm not really sworn in yet, so I'm not really a councilman yet. But I would love to have stopped that guy and knocked. Hey, I'm Ward 3 city councilman. You turn that lawnmower around, you shooting it in the street, man. Would he listen to me? You think, or don't do that?
I mean, I think
You gotta do what you want to do.
Maybe you talk to his supervisor.
Yeah, I think he was.
Oh,
But I think too is also in situations you got to bring awareness. You got to continue to bring awareness because we're humans, and like if you bring up the sidewalk, there's probably another 50 other things going on. So you stay on top of it, and I think that's the biggest thing that people do lack situation because we're humans. Like it could just end up on the desk because got hit with another project. A main water line busted, and they got to focus on. You see this all the time with some of these cities over here. I mean, you lose power you lose power here, or something burns up, and they could be focused on that, and all of a sudden there's a. I mean, it's just life. So I mean,
and how are they staffed? Are they properly staffed? They have enough people to handle all the jobs that are out there or not? But when you get to know some folks, you can call. Somebody will call with a complaint. You can call the department, and they'll say, "Oh, it's on the work. It's on the work schedule. We think I'm sorry, it may not be. It may be a month before we get to it, but it's on the schedule.
Yeah,
you can call the people back and say, "Okay, it's on the schedule," and that's
you gotta stay on top of your shit no matter what. I mean, you have to. It doesn't, and because people do forget.
Yeah,
they got families. They got. I mean, heck, that guy cutting grass. I mean, go to the supervisor, kind of with Scott, but like, he might be just out of it because he's got 3 teenagers fighting each other. And you look at that stuff too, because I mean, city people, everybody, they all have certain things going on.
Yeah.
And it could be a bad day for him. I mean, he probably normally sometimes could cut it the right way, but he's probably just like, I just want to, it's hot. I just want to get off of work.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's called me 10 times. You know how that is.
Yeah. I called up Tisdale. We was talking one day and I said, I saw something yesterday. I seen one guy in a 4-door truck dually by himself with no tools in the vehicle whatsoever, driving down Pass Road. He goes, "You're becoming a councilman." Just watching it. What made you look at that and think about it? I said, it just looked weird. He had to been going somewhere, but he needed a dually with 4 doors, one guy. So it's little things like that I look at because I'm a worker.
Somebody drove one of your dualies and only had one guy in it. How would you feel?
He ain't going. Ain't nobody getting in one truck with 4 doors.
You serious, dude?
It's going to be 3 of us in there at least.
I think you're going to bring a little ray of sunshine over there to that council.
Yeah. But I don't want to make nobody mad, at me or nothing. I just it's the common sense stuff. I just don't look right.
I mean, it's all about conversation, man. And I think you're definitely there. And like I told you before we got started tonight, just be yourself, man. You're a hard worker. It's obvious. And you got a lot of great ideas. there's a way to get all of those things taken care of and fixed. And some of them might take a little bit more time than what you want or what we think it should. But I think that there's a way to get it done.
My scary part, like I said before, is going to be when you get in the up there on the stage and have to talk in front of people and all. That's going to be the nervous.
Well, you've been there. It's a long, like I've been to a few of the Gulfports, and that's just long and drawn out. Like I don't want to be there.
Yeah.
I mean, because you got to hear everybody's issues.
Yeah.
And not just your ward.
Yeah.
You got to hear every ward's issue.
It seems like it'd be easier when you sit up there with all them people. Would be easier sitting there than like the comment. When you have your comment, the citizen comments. Then they're sitting in that chair talking. It seemed like that person be nervous than you listening. The one talking that way.
I mean, you got an audience tonight here.
Yeah.
Talking in front of.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I'm just like, I'm not allowed to, so I'm more, I'd like to be lower in with the stand and view my point, but I'll let others do that part. Like, get me. I love to sit in front of some of the council in Gulfport and just have a conversation.
Imagine when you're talking to that crowd that you're sitting right here talking into the mic and you just can't see them. They're out there.
They're out there.
They're out there because there's more of them out there right now than it's going to be in that audience.
Yeah.
I think too is, even if a person is frustrated, you got to keep in mind there's so much, and I always do that too. Like, I mean, I get hot headed, but I'm not going full swing.
Yeah.
When it comes to like a political issue, like I'll be honest with you. H2 been great down here. H2O, like,
man.
I've had a few issues where I have a buddy, Chase, that works for the company, and he runs the service division for all the trucks. Instead of me getting super upset, or making it like a social media post or dragging it out, I love Chase Fleming. Guys, Chase Fleming. He works his butt off. But like I also know Ryan and the Niesels. But like I just call Chase like, hey man, like this is not slide off. And I know 15-foot right away because you don't own 15 foot of your land. It's owned. I mean, literally, the state government owns 15-foot right away. I mean, but like if you pull up sometimes, be a little easy on my yard, or right by my house. And I understand the situation, but I can't tell how many times they block my driveway, and I got a Hummer H2. I mean, and they have a trailer, laid down. It's still little things like that where I'm like, I'm going to hit something, but calling him and addressing him. And I know if you don't have that situation, but if if it is like, let's say a certain company, like it's Biloxi Utilities, I mean, you don't have to, you can reach out to your councilman, but also you could probably call the utility company, let them know. I mean, that's how I do it.
Yeah.
I go straight to the source. I'm like, hey, they're like, nah, Chase is like, we got this fixed. I apologize, dude. And boom, they seen that situation and made it better. And look, that's what for me. It's just I'm very much that person like you. I'll pick up the phone and I'll call. I'm not gonna blame the whole company over one employee's issue, because there's people that you always got good and bad apples.
Yeah. Make sure you get that truck number.
I know
all them trucks has got a number on them.
I know. Look, but also you got to keep in mind too, like I've learned this too, and this is starting to aggravate me, is people don't want to work like they used to. They don't want to work. I'll say that. Shout out. I mean,
chord, huh? Struck a chord, huh?
Yeah.
But I just don't. I mean, like I look at my friends in their coffee business, and I look at my friends in their construction business, and I look at my friends, any job field. It's like now it's like people think they're going to work. They only need to work like 10 hours. The younger youth. I mean, and then they guess what? City hires them, $15 an hour.
Some of the one of the last numbers that I saw, statistics for the work participation rate in the state of Mississippi, was at 50%.
Whoa,
it's coming.
Well, now they're going to start really working. A few people just left.
Well, I mean, it's not just with city work. It's not just it's with, if you have a dream and you want to start a small business and you need employees, they're not there anymore. I mean, when I was growing up, when I was growing up, If, I went to a McDonald's when I was 16, 22 years ago, people were more excited to work. I mean, now everybody wants to be influencers. It's a different world.
And air conditioned. They want an air conditioned job now.
But they want to get a degree and be straight to manager.
Yep.
And that's the whole system. What are you about to say?
Oh, nothing. I mean, you're right. It is a different world we live in, and I think that we've got to figure out how to engage the workforce and figure out what that looks like, down the road. I mean, we've got to figure that out. That's something we need to be thinking about. It's just like what they call brain drain or human capital migration. We've got a lot of people, they come to Mississippi or that live in Mississippi, they get their degrees, and then we lose roughly 50% of those graduates. They go to states like Texas, Georgia, and Florida to work. So a lot of that's about bringing, jobs to the coast, to our area, to District 115, to Biloxi, to Iberville, and trying to create the best atmosphere to get people to back to work.
I mean, I'll tell you right now, that's why you got to keep in mind that when you get in there with some of these people, because there's a lot of people that are turning jobs, and you got to keep in mind they're probably not trained. And they look, I've lied on applications. Like, I mean, maybe the person needed to make that $15 and lied on his application, and doesn't have that experience. So you got to just keep an open mind on how it's all working. I mean, I just was talking like, my first job was a dishwasher at the IP. I actually enjoyed it for a while until I had a lead make 25 cents more than me that didn't work. I mean, but my first job, I washed dishes. I don't mind washing dishes.
I park cars at the amusement park. Go this way with a flashlight. I'm 13 years old.
What was your first job, Scott?
Paper route when I was 10 years old.
I'd probably have to go with Scott. It'd be running a paper route at my grandma and grandpa's newspaper office. I remember riding in the back of the Jeep and throwing papers out, and
enough money to get Golden Gate skate ring money.
Yeah. And then there was, one day a week, cause it was a weekly paper. We'd have, my grandma and grandpa had 10 kids, and there was a bunch of grandkids, and we'd go in there. You'd have to put in the newspaper, and the papers would come strapped in a bundle strap. And we would save the straps, and my grandma would give us $1 a strap, at the end of the day. So me and my cousins, we were always racing to see who could get as many bundles rolled up and put in the bags and ready for the paper route.
Now, when I was 14, you ain't gonna believe this, but I traveled with a fair. 6 months. I left the coast for 6 months and traveled with a fair. So
like the fair that would set up at Coliseum.
Gulfport. We left from Gulfport, Miller Stadium. Yep. Told my mom, I called her in Mobile and said, I'll be back when I get back. And it wasn't too long I got back.
And that was at 14.
14.
Golly, go for 6 months.
Let's say Justin's position is it's a city clerk, county clerk. So Justin's been what do you say? I can't even see it right now.
It's just like talking to the citizens when you were walking door to door campaigning. Just see it as you're talking to your neighbors.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
absolutely. Oh, yeah.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
That's well.
And I did,
said,
and
Justin.
believe it or not, when I did go and talk to people at their door, I was right on cue. I connected with them, and when I left, I felt so good. I was ready to go. I couldn't wait to knock on the next door. It was fun. That was fun campaigning. Believe it or not, I had a ball.
Yeah, it is fun getting out and meeting people and engaging with people. And you might go to some houses that it wasn't a great visit, but you go to the next one and it was, and it just kind of gives you that motivation to keep going.
I had one guy at all the houses I knocked on. I had one guy, and I already went to his house again, shook his hand and all. After I won, I gave him my push card. Him and his wife was sitting on the front porch, and he read it. He goes, And I went, no, you can have it. He goes, no, you can have it back. I went, oh, okay. But then when I won, I went back, and he said, congratulations, and And now every time I ride by, he waves at me.
That's great.
But I was just wondering, why didn't he keep the card?
I mean,
He just didn't want it.
well, I think it's different teams.
Yeah, I think he was.
May-
I think he was
What
Democrat.
were you saying?
Yeah, I was gonna say he may or may not have voted for you that time,
Yeah,
but he'll probably vote for you next time.
yeah.
And also about you. I mean, talk's cheap. I mean, the actions you lead. I think that's something that Zach. I could tell you, like Zach's been at this for a while, but Zach has made it a point, especially up in Jackson, to just show up and
Yep.
put himself out there. I think if you look at Zach, I would say probably 10 years from now, people are gonna go, Zach, did this, Zach fought for this, stood for this.
Yeah.
And I think it's just people seeing your actions. I mean, would you agree? You've been in this world for a long time.
Yeah, I really wanted to say something about Zach before we got off the air, but Zach is a freshman. He is one of our rising stars. Okay, he's already a vice chairman of a major committee, corrections. That's one of the top 5 committees. Okay, and that's an important committee. It's got the 3rd largest budget that we deal with, that he's got responsibility for overseeing. It's and he has composed himself very, very well. And he, people see and they recognize the leadership wouldn't put him there if he wasn't doing the job and doing a good job. And people back home can be proud of him.
I appreciate that, Scott. Thank you. I just, I tell people a lot of times, they go, how you doing? And I'm just happy to be here, and I just want to work hard for home. Back in the day, I at the end of the day, it's where I live. It's where my kids grow up. It's where my kids go to school. And, I just want to do my part, whatever that is, to just try to create the best quality of life that I can. And honestly, the way to do that, and you've talked about it, Scott, it's about relationships. You said it earlier. It's building relationships, telling people what the issues are, paying your dues, working hard, trying to learn, figure everything out. And I think anybody that does that, it'll work itself out. But
I've watched a lot of people come along, and I've had people that I met that became a chief of staff for the governor or somebody else. I see you being somewhere. I see you coming along.
Well, I appreciate that.
I need an autograph before you go. Yeah. Let's go into this, man. Like I said, it was this has been a cool night. These boys are going to come back on. Me and my stepdad, my dad. We lost Pops the 23rd, but Scott's been with me since day one with the podcast. This is his table he built when he was 18. This is the wall he built.
Man.
He knew that I was onto something, and it's getting close to 7 years. It's been a long road. But to have this be back here and have this environment, this is what I loved about this room. And I know, you want to get out, but it's just so hard for me when now I am home. And I don't know my part, but I know my part is to let people know what y'all are doing and how you're standing up. And it's not easy. You're going to get these calls, and you want to solve everything. My advice, and this is it, is, and you would say this 100%, stick to that thing and finish it.
Yep.
And can't jump around. So if you want to do Hiller Park, focus on Hiller Park. If you're going to do a sidewalk, do the sidewalk, but don't spiderweb it all. And I think you do. You're good. You're very directed on one thing.
I think it is important that you stay locked on one thing. That's how you get things done. But I think in government, you got to be ready to multitask. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of projects that need to be done. I think it's important too to be able to kind of not so much ignore this and jump and go, but to just kind of look at everything, look at the whole picture. But you definitely, if you want to get something done, stay with it. Always be working on it.
I think in my legal pad, I nailed top 3s. I write down top 3 things I got to get done in a day. Top 3. And that's kind of helps me go in a direction.
Start doing that.
Top 3. This is top 3. Michael West. That's why Michael West is he does legal paper. Get you a legal paper. Get it yellow. It's got to be yellow. And hit 3 things that you're going to accomplish. And you just have that pad for your ward.
Yeah.
And just nail out the top 3. top 3 things you got to get done and go through that list. And then you exit it out. I mean, my notepads look crazy because I'll draw contacts on it, but I still did this. The next day I'll have another top 3.
Well, I'm gonna let you know when that concrete's poured. Write our name in it.
I'm gonna have you on a lot.
Why don't we take some bets on how long it takes for him?
It isn't going to be long.
It ain't
For
gonna be long.
it
I'll
ain't
take
gonna
the
be long.
under on
I
whatever
might
it is.
take
Maybe
the under,
some-
whatever,
maybe, hey,
whatever
maybe
it
some
is.
people out
I
there
think so too.
might want to help out. Hey, let me tell you what's fun. I did this the other day. I'm cutting the grass, and there's a guy raking his yard across the street. He's in my ward. I stopped my lawnmower. I walked over there, and I said, "I just want to let you know that I'm the new councilman for Ward 3." He goes, "Oh, really?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Let me tell you something. I've been living here for 43 years, and I've never had a city official come up and introduce himself to me, ever. So I thank you for that." I said, "Well,
Wow.
if I had one of my business cards, I'd give them to you. You know, one of the city cards."
That's how you get elected on $1,400.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go. There you go.
I can't wait to get my business card because that's when I see somebody, I want to tell them, if you need anything, let me know. I can't do it right now because I don't have a business card. They're getting them made up for us right now.
Okay.
And I think that'd be pretty cool to hand them cards out.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I do it every now and then whenever the opportunity's there. You know, I want people to have my phone number. I put my personal phone number on all my business cards, on all my social media. I do a newsletter every now and then, Zmail, and you know, my personal phone number is out there for everybody. It's not some answer machine they're going to get sitting at a desk. I mean, they're going to get me. I can't tell you how many people's called, and I'll answer the phone and they go, "This is Zach Grady?" "Yes, sir." Or "Yes, ma'am." And they go, I just wasn't expecting you to answer the phone. "Well, you got my personal number. What can I help you with?" You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good feeling when they,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
I tell you, during campaigning, I had a list of phone numbers to call people, you know, the week before the election day. And that was almost, I got a better response from that than knocking on doors sometimes. People couldn't believe that the actual candidate running for office was calling their phone number asking for their vote. It was a great response.
Yeah.
Doing that.
Feel like the show's been good.
Yeah.
It's, guys, love you. Let's go one more time on Justin. Zach, along with the rest of our coast, I can't read.
Yeah, it says Zach doing with the rest of the coast delegation is top notch. We are fortunate on the coast to have the representation that we have in Jackson. Thank you for that, Justin. We're definitely trying, and we do have a great group of guys throughout the Senate and the House, and we are very fortunate. You're right.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much, and it's been a great time. If you need insurance, Oliver's got insurance. That's about it.
We got to have another one soon. Talk about United in Blue. We're looking at October this year.
You can come anytime you want. You know that. Let's see if I got that back to old school throwback.
And Mike, I'm looking forward to seeing your
Nice meeting
success.
you. Yep.
Love you guys.
We offer home, auto, muscle, builders, whips, and life insurance. Oliver Scott. Oliver Scott's insurance.